Hello, I'm Jürgen Bellmann from SOFiSTiK. In this video I want to show you how to model a volume mesh with SOFiMSHA. Here for the foundation of a wind turbine. Let's first have a look to the final result. We have here the system. If we want to look inside the system, it is also a good idea to open WinGraph, select a box and then save this box information. If we then go back to the animator, we can choose setting from WinGraphs and have a look inside our bricks. We see here the bolts for the connection to the tower. Another possibility to look inside the volume mesh is to activate here the view additional cut near clip plane. And if you then scroll with the mouse wheel to your system, you see that the elements that are near to you are clipped away. And we can here see some bolts inside our mesh. When we start, it is always a good idea to make a sketch on a sheet of paper. We have here our concrete, here the bolts for the tower. We have a connection spring that connects the steel plate that we have here with the foundation. And this steel plate is a part of the tower ring. Then we connect here the tower to a central node number 1, where we apply all our loads. Now we can make a quadrilateral mesh by just drawing some lines here, maybe like this, to get 4 noded areas that we use for the bricks later on. Now we choose a numbering. Maybe we start here with 101, node 102, 3, 4. In this direction we increase by 10. That means here we have 111, 12, 13, 14, 15. And here 121, 22, 23, 24, 25. For the end of the contact zone 26. For the steel plate 27. Outside 28. And for the tower 29. Okay, let's start. We open our SSD. Here we open our project. And you see I have already inserted some materials and sections. Then we open our text input. And you see I have already made the input for the node coordinates. I say node number X and Z. So every input here is node number 102. X is equal 6 and Z is 0.2. All nodes in this plane have the number 100. We now make 8 copies of these nodes in a circular copy where we make a loop 8 times, where we take all nodes from 101 to 199 and copy them 8 times around the global Z-axis. But if we run this SOFiMSHA, we will not see anything in Animator or WinGraph because we have not created elements. For this, it is a good idea to make a simple test where we just create spring elements at the numbers that we want to see. When we run this now and open our animator, we can see some springs, and if we go to the WinGraph, we can check the number of the nodes here. Okay, we have checked our nodes and now we want to insert the first brick elements like this. If we go to the manual, we see that we have to insert 8 nodes, and we can then subdivide this brick structure. We start with our first volume that has the 4 nodes 101, 11, 12, 102. In the next plane we will have 201, 211 and so on. So we make a loop over our 8 divisions in the circle. We start the loop with the variable I0. This goes from 0 to 7. Often it is better to use a variable I1 where I increase it by 1, and now this variable goes from 1 to 8. My plane where I start is the plane with the node numbers 100 multiplied with 1 in the first loop, so this is 100. The second plane is the plane 200 in the first loop. Only for the last division I have to say that the second plane is again 100, the first one. Now we make our first group and insert the group elements. I have here the nodes in the first plane 101, 111, 112 and 102, and then in the next copy 201, 211 and so on. And this we just have to insert here. So this is the first plane, 101, 111, 112, 102. And now the same with 201 up to 202. And I want to make 5 elements in the first row, 2 and 1 elements with material number 1. We now run this little SOFiMSHA, and if we look to the animator, we really see the first level of BRIC-Elements. Of course, if I select a division of 32 maybe, I get more elements in circular direction. We can now insert the next layer of elements. We take this line that I have prepared already. We increase our number L1 by 1, so this is now not 101 but 102, the next layer. If I run this and just look to my animator, we see now here more elements. Now we can just make the next layer with 103. Please always look to your sketch. And then we make the next plane with the next number 10. So now this is not 101, but this is now 111. And also for the next plane. If we now run this, we have here our final mesh with all brick elements. Now we insert other elements. For example, the contact springs must go from node 26 to 25. So the spring must go from node 26 to 25 in every sector plane. We now see here the green contact springs, also the bolts. The bolts are positioned only every second sector plane. This we achieve with a modulo function where only every second node plane this truss element for the bolt is inserted. Now we only have to apply our loads on the master node 1, and if we look to the result, we can check maybe a bending moment My on our master node, giving the stresses in all elements. If we want to see the stresses in the brick elements, we go to WinGraph, draw an brick cut, maybe from here to here and from here to here. Go to the three-dimensional view, results, volume elements, maybe stress in global Y. And now we can choose ISO area representation. With program BMS, you can also convert the tensile stresses into reinforcement. You see, it is not so difficult to create a mesh with SOFiMSHA, and it makes fun, and you have the full control over your node numbers. If you want the file, please contact our support. So thanks for listening and goodbye.